Hello, my friends. It's Ranger Russ from the Meigs Nature Center coming to you today from the Cedar Island Trail. And we will not be doing a Cedar Island Trail walk today, but do look for one coming up. The leaves are all down. We can do a winter walk now. And I'm really looking forward to doing some snow hikes. If we can get some snow on the ground, we can do some tracking. Before I get into the program, though, that I am going to do, I need to remind everyone to please continue wearing masks. I'm hearing a lot of people talking about how masks are not effective or not necessary. And there is a recent study out that has not been confirmed yet by other studies. I like to see multiple studies. But this study shows a direct correlation between viral load and the severity of the virus, which means the more exposure you get to the virus, the worse you are going to get the virus. Early on, people were wondering why a perfectly healthy person was not surviving the virus where someone that was very ill was able to survive. And they think that that has a lot to do with your viral exposure. And if you remember the program I did with Dr. Don Rankin back at the beginning of this, he actually suggested the same thing. So wearing the mask is going to reduce the viral load that you're exposed to. So please continue to wear your masks, especially as we get into the holiday and people are going inside and you're starting to gather together for the holidays. Really, you need to consider that the people you're gathering with are, you have a group, a bubble that you're in, but now if you go into their bubble includes all the people that they have and then their bubble. So your bubble gets really big when you start to gather around family. I know you want to get together, but see if you can do it through Zoom or something like that. But that's just my public service announcement for today. Let's get into the program. Now, this week our programs are going to be a little different because tomorrow and Thursday I will be doing chainsaw training. I'm going to learn how to use a chainsaw. I think it's called hurricane and storm cleanup or something like that. So I'll be out for that. But I'll be back on Friday. Weather permitting, I plan on doing a traveling program to another park on Friday, and that'll be Friday at 11 o'clock. Hopefully everybody got to see this morning. We saw the hooded mergansers down at Chase Pond, and I said if I came in the morning and they were there, I'd film them, so I did. I put that video up. We'll try and put that video with the program that I did on mergansers. So look for that. Another reason to go to the website, because that's where we can combine videos that are similar. All right, are we ready to talk about why we're on the trail today? And I'm going to flip the camera around because what we're talking about, this is going to be my favorite tree of the day, and that is the hackberry. Now, I've talked about hackberry almost every time I've walked the Cedar Island Trail. It's a fascinating tree to me for several reasons, and we'll get into all the specifics of hackberry. So let's take a look first. This is the bark of hackberry. Now, take a close look here, because the amazing or the interesting thing, the unique thing about hackberry is the lumpy, concrete-looking, it sort of looks like splatter or warts. They're hard, irregular shapes growing on the tree. I think that's a really cool, and it's a unique thing. It's easy to identify hackberry looking at that. Now, hackberry, it's a pretty long-lived tree. It can live 150 to 200 years. Now, not all of them obviously are going to live that long. Typically, though, you think of a tree, they grow fast when they're young, and then they don't grow so fast as they get older. The hackberry, it hits its maximum growth spurt at between 20 and 40 years. So that's pretty cool. I don't have any clue how old this tree is. They don't get very large. 40 to 60 feet is how they max out. So this one is probably 30, maybe. The tippy top of it is 30. Here, let's see if I can show you the very top of this tree. We'll step back, get a look there. So not a super tall tree. All right. Also not a super fast growing tree, although it can hit growth spurts of 13 to 24 inches in a year, which is pretty good. Not considered a hardwood tree. The wood is considered to be a flexible wood. So it used to be used for the barrel hoops because the wood was bendy enough to make barrel hoops, and they did hardwood floors with it as well. Now, I'm going to be doing a lot of trees in the winter. I learned my trees in the winter without the benefit of leaves to help identify them. Leaves are an easier way to identify trees, but we're going to be looking at the stems and the bark, and I'll teach you how to identify a tree in that way. So one of the first things we're going to talk about is the branching. There's opposite branching, and then there's alternate branching. And it's really very simple. Opposite branching means there's a twig coming off each side of a branch at the same point. Alternate branching is there's a twig coming off the right, and then a little higher up it'll come off the left, and then a little further along it comes off the right again. So that's alternate branching. Most trees are alternate branching. We'll get into the opposites when we get to some of those trees. But this is an alternate branching tree. The leaves also alternate as they go up the bark. And I will tell you, up the twig, I will tell you about the leaf. It is a simple leaf, which means it's just an oval. They actually call it ovate, which means it's egg-shaped with a thicker end attached to the stem. Whoa, the wind's picking up there. Hope that's not shaking the camera too much. So if it's an ovate toothed leaf, there are little teeth along it, or serrated, sometimes called serrated. I did poke around on the leaves, in the leaves on the ground. Mostly oaks that I saw. I did see one hackberry, and now I can't find it again. It's at my feet somewhere here. If I see it, I'll try and show you. So one of the things about this tree, the flowers, so trees do flower, but many times when the tree flowers, the flowers are not colorful, so they don't stand out, and we don't notice them as much. And this tree is no exception. It gets green flowers. I'm trying to show you here, there's a branch coming out there. This one's not the best one to show alternate branching, but there we go. Actually, if we look here, there's a branch there, and then a branch there, and then a branch here. This is kind of twisty, so it's hard to tell, but this is alternate branching, not opposite. So again, it has greenish flowers. It does produce a berry, which many birds like to eat. Cedar waxwings, mockingbirds, robins, but other birds will eat them as well. Again, let's stop and remind everybody, if anyone has any questions about hackberry, hopefully I can answer them. But also put up where you're messaging us from, so I see Hartford and Uncasville are already watching. I missed if there are any questions. I'll stop and look back at questions in a moment. But let's talk more about the animals that like to use this tree, that's beneficial for them. There are many butterflies that use this, so you can find their caterpillars on it. The question mark butterfly, the morning cloak butterfly, their caterpillars can be found on this. Also, some of the gall insects, or insects that produce galls. They lay their eggs in the leaf structure, and it grows a little bit of a gall there. So they will use the tree as well. So it is a beneficial tree for more than just the berries. In the fall, the leaves turn yellow. That's a typical color for this. You know, some trees will turn red, and some trees turn other colors. Orange, or red, orange, yellow are the primary colors. But this tree will turn, primarily it turns yellow. And it is common through the middle part of the U.S., across the Mississippi. It can be found up into Canada a little bit. I know New Hampshire was the only place I could find where it is threatened. Other places it's pretty stable. Connecticut doesn't have it listed at all. So it is found around Connecticut, although here at Hammonasset, it's not very common. Now, it's a very drought-tolerant tree. Does not use a lot of... Ooh, there's the wind again. Doesn't need a lot of moisture. Can be in dry to moist soil, so a little bit. But it is commonly used in cities where you don't get as much rain or watering for it. It's not very tolerant of frost. So typically if it's being planted, it's planted not on the outer edge of a wooded area. You plant it in one layer, and that gives it some protection from the elements, particularly frost. All right, I should take a look here. I need to take my glove off. It's probably about 30, 32 degrees out here today, so nice day as long as you're dressed for it. Let's take a look. Someone didn't hear, Rosemary didn't hear, and it is hackberry, so that's good. Someone answered that for me. Waterfront. Oh, Westbrook, right on the water. Not seeing any questions. Did I cover everything? Someone missed the program this morning. Who's Susan? Yes, you can all watch it later. It will eventually be put up on YouTube, but we'll also try and put it on the website with the other video that I did about mergansers. All right, I don't think I missed any. Hello, Michigan is back. All right, doesn't seem that I missed any questions, so I'm going to remind everybody to please go to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm trying to get that 1,000 subscriber number. We're over 200 now, so working our way up. So if you're watching a video, if you search for Meigs Point Nature Center's channel, don't just search for one of our videos, you'll be able to subscribe to that channel. And also, please continue to follow us and like us on Facebook. The patches on the bark, a good question. So these lighter patches, this is a moss or a lichen that will grow on here. You can see there's a circular, that is one patch. There's another one here, these spots, and they will get bigger. Sometimes they don't survive. It also grows on serviceberry. Oh, let's take a look at serviceberry. There's one right over here. Some trees get a lot more than others. So it's just the nature of the barks. Some allow it to grow, and some of them it's not able to grow. So that's a great question. And so, someone right above that asked about the lichen that's growing on it. So we got that covered twice there. Very cool. Also, if you take a look here, that is a complete hole. And it looks, I don't have a flashlight, but it looks pretty, like it goes pretty far in there. So look at that. Yeah. It's pretty healed around that too. Here's a really nice view. Let me angle down a little bit. Show you. Look at all that bark. Look at, and these are hard. These are not soft like you can just snap them off. I could probably break one off, but those are pretty hard. Does it harm the tree? The lichen usually does not harm the tree. I don't know of any trees that are killed by it. Do you know why the hackberry has difficulty in New Hampshire? I don't know for sure, but I'm going to guess it has to do with its lack of tolerance to frosts. So if you get a lot more frost, it's not listed in Canada though, but it may just be that it's never been really common in Canada, so the numbers aren't in decline in Canada. It's just that's what they expect there. Did I miss any other questions? Oh, somebody's watching from Madison. If anybody wants to put up the weather in their local community, Dan is on. I don't know if Dan's working today. Dan works here at the park. Yeah, but you get nice smooth bark in some places, and then you get these really cool formations that grow out of the bark. And again, the branches are very twisty. Kind of reminds me of an apple tree with the twists and turns. You can see the very outer twigs get very, very thin. Oh, something I didn't talk about, the buds, and that's probably because there aren't any low enough for me to see. This does not get terminal buds. Okay, so a terminal bud would be at the end of a twig or a stem. It does not get a terminal bud. They get the buds off the sides, auxiliary buds off the sides of the twigs. So that's something I did forget. Do the birds eat the berries? The birds love the berries. I have never found hackberry berries that I could try. I've been told that they're good, but I haven't been able to try them. And actually, serviceberry, this past summer was the first year that I got serviceberry berries, and they were delicious. I can't tell you. I was shocked how tasty they were. And it can't really describe it compared to anything else, but low 30s in southern Michigan. Severe winds for 2 days. We had some severe winds as well here in Connecticut. I lost power for a day, which was not fun, but we got it back now. I guess there were some tornadoes in New York and tornado warnings coming through Connecticut, but I don't know that we got any tornadoes. But yeah, probably the same winds, just takes longer to get to us. All right, I think I've covered all of the questions on hackberry. So again, I will be doing trees in the winter. We'll pick a different tree and try and find one. I have to make sure I know where there's a tree, and hackberry was one that I knew positively where I could get a hackberry. I thought actually about doing white oak, but we'll do white oak coming up. We'll do serviceberry as well. So we'll be talking about the trees of Connecticut. Spooky looking tree, perfect for scary movies. It is. That would be an excellent tree for The Legend of Sleepy Hollow or something like that. It does look, it's kind of a spooky tree. I never thought of it that way, but it is. All right, so again, this is Ranger Russ. I will be doing these programs live on Facebook Tuesday through Friday at 11 o'clock. Again, this week, no program on Wednesday or Thursday, but we'll be back on Friday with, hopefully, weather permitting, a traveling program to another one of Connecticut's state parks. And if you would, please go to our YouTube channel. Oh, Judith wants witch hazel. I love witch hazel. We'll definitely be doing witch hazel. Don't think I have any here at Hammonasset, but I know where there's other places that have it. So look for that. But please subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit our website, meigspointnaturecenter.org. Go to the Virtual Learning Center. You'll see this video and many other videos along with additional educational information, sometimes some photos. I will try and attach a photo, put a photo next to the videos of the trees, of the leaves. So you'll be able to see a leaf of the tree on our website. So hopefully all the volunteers that are watching that have to do all that work aren't cringing right now. So again, let's give a shout out of thank you to our volunteers that put these videos up on the website with all the educational materials that they gather and put together as well. And thank you to the Friends of Hammonasset. They're the ones that are paying to feed the animals back at the Nature Center until we're able to reopen. Until next time, which is going to be this Friday at 11, this is Ranger Russ signing off from the Cedar Island Trail at Hammonasset Beach State Park.